Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is George and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Code Geass, Roze of the Recapture, episode 6. So, what did you think about this week's episode? Honestly, I thought this week's episode was really good. I didn't think it was as good as, some of the previous episodes, but I still think it was a great episode overall. And for anybody that doesn't know, this actually is the halfway point into the series. So, because I believe it's going to be a 12 episode series. I could be wrong, it could be 13, or I know it's 12 or 13, one of the two. But overall, I think that this series up to this point has been doing a great job at setting up the plot and setting up the characters, and especially in this week's episode where we get to see a lot of, pretty much backstory and lore about, Ash. We get to see a little bit more about what he's about, and we also get to plant the seeds of what's to come in the future for his character, as well as, what's the tension that's going to happen in the later half of the series. Now, before I go any further with this week's episode, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my anime and manga, as well as all my Code Geass content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's episode. So this week's episode starts off right where we left off last time, which is pretty much the Democles collapsing, about to fall all over the city of Hokkaido. And we see pretty much what happens is the resistance, they're like, okay, well, let's stop this. And we see Ash and Roze, they're trying to like put this, they're trying to change the trajectory because there is a park that's empty nearby, so they're trying to make it so the floating units are able to, hold the Democles up until it crashes there. They're not trying to make it crash all over the city. So thankfully they do manage to do that after some, trial and tribulation. And once that happens, then we cut to pretty much the Nolan. We see that Nolan is like, he's like, man, like they're asking him like, what was the point? Like, I guess this was a failure. He's like, no, it's okay. Like, it's all according to plan. Like his mustache twirling self, like, the villain. He's like, no, it's all according to plan. I got this. And one of his commands is, he asked one of his knights, is like, hey, how's the experiments going? It's like, well, they're going pretty good. And for us, we're thinking to ourselves, like, what experiments exactly? And we'll see later on where that goes. Now, how we finish up this section is pretty much we see that Nina, she's departing from, the party because she's no longer needed. She was specifically there just to counter the Flayas. And, she, gives them a handshake, she waves goodbye. And, hey, man, all I gotta say is that Nina came in clutch. I know Nina has a lot of disdain in the Code Geass fandom, but I think that she has wronged her dues in the period of time that the story has taken place. I mean, she was a crucial part in the Zero Requiem, if not the most essential part when it comes to, like, defeating Schneizel and countering the Flayas and all that. So, I put some respect on Nina. Like, listen, she's not one of my favorite characters, and I still, hate her regardless. But I think when it comes to an overall, like, the writing perspective of her character, I think that she's gone a full, 180, and I think that she's changed her ways, and she's become a better person overall. Still, I still don't, like her in the original series. I hated her. I still hate her to some regard, but I can't say that she's a terrible character because she's really not. I think she was very fully fledged, and I think that this sequel to the Code Geass universe, I think, has been doing a great job with her character, showing her where she's at this point in her life and how she's improved since the last time we saw her. Now, going forward, what we see afterwards is, more of a slice of life, more like chill down section of the episode. And what we see is pretty much, some Sakuya action, man. And let me tell you, these angles with her, woo, they had me acting up, bro. They had, like, hey, listen, they had me acting up. Sakuya, man, she built. All right, she built. And not just that, the funny part was that, before that, we see also Catherine and, Sakura, and, they're also like, listen, this was a great episode, man. If you love some beautiful women, you have some beautiful ladies all over the screen this week's episode, because we see also, like I said, we see Sakura, and, she's talking to, what's her name, Catherine, and they're kind of discussing like how the whole situation with the Flare went down, and you see Catherine throwing like some shade at her, but eventually Sakura's like, no, like she's kind of unfazed by it, and like she's like, oh, can you like be my guard or something? And then like Catherine was like, listen, you're only an empress by name, like get out of here. And she's so pissed, she leaves, and then she tells one of the other knights like, hey, you guard her for the day. He's like, okay, I will. And like I said, going forward after that, we see like that Sakuya scene where, listen, they were putting a lot of detail in, Sakuya's Sakuya's best features. That's all I'll say. All right, that's all I'll say regarding that scene. Can't wait to get a Sakuya statue. Like, I know they're gonna kill it with the sculpt, because man, they're really putting the finer details in this in this character, to say the least. And what happens is pretty much we catch up with her, and she's having like a more of a slice of life kind of section of the episode where she's like, back in the cafe, she wants to help out. She's wearing the maid outfit. She's walking around, and they eventually tell her like, oh, go buy some ingredients, to help out. I was like, okay, fine. So they go. She goes to buy some ingredients, and she stumbles upon Ash, and obviously Ash is simping. My man is like super, lovey-dovey with her, like that's his queen, and my man is blushing. I love the VA, by the way, that voices Ash, because my man changes his entire demeanor when it comes to whenever there's Strawberry, as she's being called. Whenever Sakuya shows up, he starts acting up, and it's hilarious. I love the change of voice and tone and everything. It was great. But what happens is, as they're walking like together, we see that one of the knights, Nara, she shows up, and she's like, hey, we gotta talk. And we see that pretty much Ash and her go off, and they go in the car, they're driving away, and then they start talking about their history together, because I guess they had a history in the past. And I guess he had left Norland, and he used to be a knight of the round as well. And we see that pretty much as they're in this car, Sakuya, she's trying to like listen in, because she has like a bug in the little thing that he gave her, like, because she gave him like a little like amulet or whatever it's called. But she, in that amulet thing, it had a little tracer, and she's trying to track what they're talking about. And eventually like they get out of the reception, and what does she do? Like any regular person, she just gets on a bike and steals it. But she uses her Geass on the person to just hand her the keys, and she starts riding it. And this scene was hilarious. I was like, man, what the heck? Like, this went from 0 to 100 real quick. Like, she's stealing now. Poor innocent guy. They stole his bike, like his Harley Davidson probably. But as they're riding on the bike, she's riding on the bike. She's catching up. She gets to hear more what they're talking about, and we find out that Ash, they apparently Nara and Ash come from the same orphanage. And not just that, but also there's a huge revelation where Ash's family ties, which he's apparently Norland is his adopted father. That was a great revelation. I know some people might have guessed it. I hadn't guessed it yet. But yeah, that was a very interesting take. And we see that there's a lot of tension between Nara and Ash, and Nara's like, hey, listen, just get out of here, like come back with us, like there's no point in rebelling, like just join us and we should be fine. And he's like, no, I'll never join you guys. And they eventually call it like even Steven, because like they both know they're not gonna like back down, and they have like weapons pointing at each other, so they're like, okay. So eventually she drops him off somewhere, and while that's happening, how we start ending the episode is that we catch up with one of Norland's like second in command or something, one of the knights, and this guy's doing experiments on a person, and this person happens to be one of the people that Roze / Sakuya used their Geass on. And this person, like, they put him like with these Oculus Rift kind of things, and they start testing on him. And eventually you find out that they're doing this because the guy overseeing the whole thing, he knows about Geass, because I guess some of the Geass research had been like undestroyed. So that's how he knows about Geass, and it seems like Norland is aware of Geass itself, which is not a big shocker. I kind of figured that was going to play out like that. And what happens is, they start like dissecting this guy, like his eyeballs are like being taken away or something, and he's asking me questions. Eventually the guy dies, and he's like, oh well, I guess we got to try harder next time. And how we end the episode is we see that Sakura's in like taking a shower, and while that's happening, the knight that was opposing to her earlier, he figures out that that's actually not Sakuya, that's actually Sakura, and he figures her entire scheme, and like he just traps her. And how we end the episode as well is we see a little bit of a hint of what's to come with Ash's backstory, which I'm very excited to see in the next episode, hopefully, because it's been really good so far up to this point, and halfway into the series, and I've been very much enjoying this series, and I can't wait to see where the story goes from here. Now, with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's episode? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you think it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Code Geass, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.